I don't even recognize myself anymore.
I'm really worried about him. His addiction. I haven't seen him like this. Ever.
Hey, look, I never wanted to start using. I knew the drill, but I was out of options.
I just want to tell him it's not your fault. There are people out there who can help. People who have felt your pain. They know what you're going through.
This has to stop. I'm losing everything. Everyone.
You've been strong your whole life. You can do this, but you have to reach out for help.
It's time. I can do this.
Addiction is a disease, and diseases need treatment.
Call Quit Drugs 321 now at 800-378-3508, 800-378-3508. That's 800-378-3508. Paid for by the Detox and Treatment Helpline.
All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Elevating with Marcia. I'm your host, Marcia Hawkins. Great to have you back on the show. Today's show is brought to you by MarciaHawkinsAgency.com and Elevated Media ESQ. Please check us out on Facebook and Instagram as well. You can listen to the rebroadcast of Elevating with Marcia on YouTube at Elevated Media ESQ. If you'd like to reach me, please direct message me either on Facebook or Instagram at Elevating with Marcia. Today's show, we're going to be talking a little bit about the economy, a little bit about sports, a little bit of news. I'm going to be bringing Michael on to chat. He's been on the show before about basically the state of the country. And I got to be honest, I'm quite comfortable in saying there's quite a bit that we can talk about. All right, we're going to talk a little sports too. Celtics advanced to the finals and take the first game against the Golden State Warriors. It looks like Matt Patricia, who used to be the defensive coordinator for the New England Patriots, then did a little stint up in Detroit, only to get fired after a couple of disastrous seasons. He's going to apparently have quite an offensive role in the Patriots offense this upcoming season. And then there's talk that they are going to take the offensive playbook in a completely new direction after the departure of Josh McDaniels, who departed for Las Vegas, and it really was very much expected. Getting excited for the 22 season with Malcolm Butler's return. First round draft pick Cole Strange, a freak among the freaks as he's been referred to, and Mac Jones, who apparently has been working quite hard in the offseason. Woohoo for football. I am super excited. We play Josh McDaniels in Sunday Night Football on Sunday, December 18th at Allegiant Stadium. Sure to be a ratings bonanza with Belichick McDaniels matchup. I could not be more excited for the season. Should be quite interesting to see, what the dynamics and what the temperature is in that stadium with that matchup. Very excited. All right. Couldn't be more excited for that. That's for sure. Okay, everybody, this is Elevating with Marcia on Sirius XM 203, 217 on the app, 967, the Sports Byline USA Radio Network. Please check us out on iHeartRadio, Amazon Audible, iTunes, Tuned In, and my favorite, the American Forces Radio Network. We're going to take a quick break, come back, we're going to talk money. I'll be right back.
Do you have no credit or bad credit? Well, now it's no problem with YourCreditPulse.com. Our experts have the comprehensive knowledge to help you aggressively navigate and remove any irregularities from your credit report. Call 559-761-9421 for the solution you've been looking for, from buying a house or a car or securing your next personal or small business loan. All you have to do to get started with a confidential and free consultation is call 559-761-9421 or go to our website at YourCreditPulse.com now.
At Progressive, you can get 24/7 protection, even if you break the space-time continuum.
Wait, every time you wake up is the same day? That's terrible.
Don't worry, I call Progressive. Their 24/7 protection still works even if my day does last forever.
Yeah, but don't you want it to end?
Are you kidding? I win the lottery whenever I want and never regret anything. It's the best.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Progressive offers more than a great price when you bundle home and auto. We offer round-the-clock protection, which literally means anytime. Coverage from Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and third-party insurers, and subject to policy terms. Bundle discount not available in all states or situations.
Have you ever wished the student athlete in your family could play baseball against teams in the Caribbean? Well, now they can set sail and do just that with Team Avenue Baseball on one of its iconic Caribbean cruise camps. That's right. If they love baseball and want an experience they'll never forget, then you need to call 559-321-6701 or visit teamavenuebaseball.com right now. Founded by former pro ball players, teamavenuebaseball.com will lead to the baseball adventure of a lifetime. Call 559-321-6701 now.
Are you looking for solutions for health and wellness at home? Please visit antiagingbed.com. They are on a mission to use proven technology to provide you with healthy solutions to many conditions that affect all of us physically and mentally. Use promo code WELLNESS for your discount. Antiagingbed.com. Technology proven to help you feel your best. Use promo code WELLNESS. Antiagingbed.com. Feel your best.
And now today's Steel Lawn Care tip of the day. One lawn weed can quickly turn to more. Even freshly planted lawns usually inherit weeds and weed seeds. When planting new grass seed, avoid pre-emergent weed controls, such as crabgrass preventers and combination weed and feed fertilizers. These products are designed to keep weed seeds from germinating, but they can work against grass seed in the same way. Target tough weeds with effective spot treatments. And now a word from Steel Outdoor Power Equipment.
Why? Just think about it. Why is the #1 selling brand of chainsaws not sold at Lowe's or the Home Depot? We can give you over 10,000 reasons. That's how many authorized local Steel dealers you can find across the country. Visit one and you'll find a range of dependable gas and battery-powered tools, from trimmers to blowers. And you'll find service from experienced professionals. Real Steel. Find yours at steelusa.com. Lowe's and Home Depot are trademarks of their respective companies.
All right, everybody, welcome back. This is Marcia Hawkins on Elevating with Marcia. I'm not going to waste any time because we have a lot to get to in this program. I'm going to bring on my co-host today. Hi, Michael. How are you today?
Wonderful. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. We've had quite a busy week together. Michael and I work together. And also, we talk all the time about the economy. And I don't want to get political because I think at this point, it's kind of a moot point to even go there. The country appears to be so divided, and I'm not interested in dividing my audience. What I'm really interested in is talking about what's really going on, where we see the direction of the economy going, and what you think and what I think might be the solution to that. So, Michael, I got to tell you, so where I go to Starbucks, and I do not go to Starbucks very often, but a few times I've made the trek down to Starbucks. I'll have to say this. They've been closed. I can always tell when they're closed because they have an orange cone in front of the drive-up window. And when you get up there to read the sign, it says, "We're sorry, we had to close at 1:00. And I know why. Do you know why?
You can't get people.
Can't get employees to work. Exactly. And I got to tell you, in probably the last month, I've seen that sign out there probably more than 4 times. I'm not quite sure. I'm an employer. I am not, luckily I don't have any issues getting help right now, but I've got to say, I wonder what's going to happen 30 days from now, 6 months from now. I mean, we're 5 months away from the midterm elections. What is the answer? What is the $1 million answer for these employers?
Well, I'll tell you, it is $1 million question and answer. I've had some people that are in the workforce that have employees come in, they do the interview, they get the job, and there's, in one case, they had 6 people show up, they were all offered jobs, started to go training, worked a couple of days, and then stopped showing up. I mean, I don't understand it. And I think it could be a generational thing. I know when I was 14 years old, I was picking tobacco for $1.10 an hour and happy to get it. And I think that there's some worth ethics challenges to be kind. And the employers, I've had people say, "Hey, if you know of anybody good, let me know," And then I'll be in one store, and the retail, the clerk, the cashier, who's helping her, just outstanding. You think, man, whatever you're getting paid, it's not enough.
Yeah, my husband's been a contractor for, several years, and he currently does not have any employees, but it has nothing to do with the fact that he can't find help. Although if he were looking for help, I'm sure he would run into the same problem. However, when he did have employees, it's like he'd have to go through maybe 10 to 20 before he'd get that one, that diamond in the rough and that one good one that he could train, and they were dependable and they would show up and they would do a good job. And if he had to leave to go to the lumber yard to get supplies, he could count on them to be there and to do a good job. And it was just always, his big saying is, when you have employees, you have nothing but headaches. And I agree with that to a certain extent, only in the fact that I watched him go through that. I luckily don't have that problem, but it is really, really tough. And, to have to close your business at 1:00 in the afternoon, in my opinion, Starbucks prints money. And if they're having trouble finding help, and I don't think it's the pay, but although I did want to ask you, what are your thoughts about this? Because I find this kind of funny. I know that the current administration was really pushing for that $15 minimum wage. Well, when you think about it, if you add in inflation, where are we really at with that?
Well, that's a great point. And just to take that out so they get the $15 an hour, and I think they're still behind because the inflation rate's well over 8%.
Mm-hmm.
But look at it this way. But even before that, so you've got a little pizza shop, for example, and you've got 4 employees, and you've got a certain amount of money carved out for payroll. And let's say it was $12. Well, now it's gone up $3. It's gone up 25%, just like that. Who's paying for that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I'll give you an example. A guy I know in Florida, he once a week he'd play golf with his buddies, and they'd go out for pizza and beer. And they went in, the price of the pizza went up. They said, no, you know what? We'll do this every other week. So someone's paying for that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll give you another example. In the Seattle area, when they mandated $15 per hour, it cost the average worker $154 a month. Because what happened? They got their hours cut. So instead of working 40 at 12, they're working 30 at 15 because they had to pay the 15. And the employer doesn't have that kind of money for payroll. So there's going to be a cost to someone. It's usually the consumer and the employee.
I just find the irony in all of that is, they pushed for that, and immediately, I know I filled up my car. I drive an SUV, filled up my car yesterday, and it was $95, double what I normally, and I drive a lot now. During COVID, I was not driving very much, but the gas prices were relatively low. They didn't spike until about a year ago. And I know they talk about supply and demand, but come on. If you look at the statistics for the price of gas in 2019 prior to the pandemic, they were very, very low. So, if we were all driving and there was a demand to get out there and, travel and do all that, the summer of 2019, we would have had that. So the people that are saying that it's supply and demand, I can't disagree with them more. Yeah, we don't have the supply we had then. I'll give them that, but it has nothing to do with what they're thinking is that, during COVID, nobody drove. So now everyone's driving again. That's why the gas prices, save it. And again, I'm not trying to be political here by any stretch of the imagination, because I never want to have that tone to the show, but you come on and take a page out of Joe Biden. Come on, man. Let's face it. It's ugly out there when it comes to gas prices. I'm curious how many people really struggled to pay their heating bills this year, because I know around here in New England, they used to have $150 gallon minimum to deliver fuel. And they actually scaled that back to 100 because people were struggling to be able to pay the difference. So I don't know. The sad part about it is there's a lot of people that I see on TV, commentators, journalists, show hosts that say, the bottom line is, I can afford to absorb this increase in the gas, but middle America cannot. How are people, what do you think? What do you think that people are doing in the last couple of minutes of the first segment? What do you think people are doing to make up that difference? Where are they grabbing from in order to cover that cost?
Well, I think that they're taking, they have X number of dollars coming in. So I think their entertainment dollars are going to be curbed back because that's a choice. Whereas if you're driving 20 miles to work, you're spending X number of dollars a week on gas to get to and from work. And that's not going to change, but you got to carve that money out of someplace else. And entertainment. Maybe you just, instead of getting that new dress or shirt, you go, well, maybe later, and then, okay, it's time. It's a birthday present. Well, maybe it's not as nice as the one that we got you 2 years ago. I think everybody just curtails, you've got X coming in, and there's a lot of it that's dictated, that's fixed. And those are your rent, your mortgage, electricity bills. I call that a variable fixed. It's fixed in that it's not going away, but it might go up and down a little bit. But it's a bill that comes in every week, every month, and it's something you got to pay. There's a birthday presents and going out to dinner, you can cut back on stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I look at some of these minivans and SUVs going around. They've got the 2 and 3 kids in the back, and they're trying to get them to soccer practice in school. And you wonder, are they telling kids, no more gymnastics, no more lacrosse camps? And I'd be interested to see how many people cut back on like summer camp programs. And you're right, going to the movies, going out to dinner, grabbing a pizza. I mean, everybody is just scaling back. And I think twice about, do I really need to drive there? And yesterday, I was on the road all day yesterday. I did nothing but do the windshield burn. And at the end of the day, I was supposed to go to Brattleboro, Vermont at the end of the day, and I had to fill up my car. I ended up not going, but not because of the gas prices, but I ended up not going because, I had pulled over, filled up $95 and ended up not going. And in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, well, I just probably saved myself quite a bit of money by not having to go. It's ridiculous. I mean, the cost of everything, my average grocery bill is probably up about 38%, I would say, compared to last year. Maybe not at this time, because at this time last year, prices were still, kind of going through the roof. So I don't know. We're going to get into it more in the next segment about the gas prices. And I know you've got some interesting statistics to go over as well. But we do need to take a break. This is Elevating with Marcia on XM 203, Sirius 217, and on the Sirius XM app 967 Sports Byline, USA Radio Network. You can also find me on iHeartRadio, Amazon Audible, Stitcher, iTunes, TuneIn, and my favorite, the American Forces Radio Network. I'm talking with Michael. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back and talk money. I'll be right back.
Do you need to sell your home? If you've sold a home before, you remember how stressful and expensive it was. Sold.com is here to help you sell your home for the most money and with the least amount of stress. There are new ways to sell your home that you've never heard of before. Did you know there are companies who'll offer you cash for your home? Did you know you could trade in your home for a new one? Did you know there are realtors who'll sell your home for a flat fee instead of an expensive commission? It's true. Sold.com services are free. So if you're looking to sell, make this free phone call right now and learn how your next home sale can be faster and easier than you ever thought possible. Pick up your cell phone and call right now. 800-449-1759. 800-449-1759. 800-449-1759. Again, that's 800-449-1759.
Do you own an annuity, either fixed rate, indexed, or variable? Are you paying high fees and getting low returns? If so, Annuity General would like you to have this free book to learn the pitfalls and mistakes of buying an annuity. The Annuity Do's and Don'ts for Baby Boomers contains the little-known truths about annuities, like how to help reduce your fees and increase retirement income. And it's free. That's right, free. As a bonus, we'll also throw in a free annuity rate report just for calling. We researched over 1,000 annuities and summarized rates and benefits from financially strong insurers. You get Annuity Do's and Don'ts for Baby Boomers and the Annuity Rate Report, both absolutely free for calling Annuity General today. Hurry, supplies are limited. Call now.
800-760-1845. 800-760-1845. 800-760-1845. That's 800-760-1845.
If you or a loved one is suffering from a physical or emotional condition that has left you unable to work, then listen carefully. Take this number down. 800-593-7491. That's 800-593-7491. When you call, you'll speak with a Social Security disability expert and get a free evaluation to see if you may qualify for disability insurance benefits from the U.S. government. That's right, a monthly cash payment paid directly to you from the Social Security Administration. Whether you're applying for the first time or you've already been denied disability benefits, call now. The disability attorneys at Pinnacle Disability can help you build your case, file an appeal, and represent you at no upfront cost to you. Don't wait another minute to see if you may qualify for your Social Security disability benefits. Call Pinnacle Disability Group at 800-593-7491 for your free case evaluation. That's 800-593-7491. 800-593-7491. Call now.
All right, welcome back. This is Marcia Hawkins on Elevating with Marcia. I'm talking with Michael. We're talking the economy, gas prices, lack of employees, all of the above. We're just talking the economy. Michael, I know you've got some interesting statistics that we kind of went over before the show. Why don't you dive into that?
Sure. Just as an example, everyone's talking about inflation, but what is it really? What it is really is it's the cost of goods and services and what the dollar can buy. And the inflation over the last 50 years has gone up an average of 3.8%. So it's there. Inflation's there, not just it's not caused. It's caused by a lot of factors. But just as an example, 2019 the inflation rate was 1.81. 2020 it went down 0.58 to 1.23%, and then in 2021 it's at 7%. So
what is inflation? I have to interrupt real quick. What does that inflationary number really mean to like the average family?
With the consumer price index, what is something going to cost you? Just as an example, the dollar, the value of the dollar in the last 50 years has dropped 86%. So just to give you an example, let's just go back 50 years. In 1972, all right, the minimum wage was $1.60. The median income was $11,000, and that was really good money in 1972. You could buy a new home for $27,000. You could buy a new car for $3,500, and to put gas in it was only 36 cents. So in the last 50 years, think about it. I paid $4.75 for a gallon of gas yesterday. It's insane.
Yeah.
So it means a lot. And then like rental cars. I'm not going to rent a car anytime soon. 42.9% increase just to rent a car.
Yeah. Why do you think there's such an uptick in the rental cars? Because I was kind of surprised by that.
I can't explain it. It's insane.
Or is everyone just jumping on because everything else is going up? And I'm not quite sure. I mean, it's not the gas because you pay for the gas. I have trouble wrapping my head around why the rental cars have become. I don't know if maybe they can't get enough. I don't know. A couple of times I've been at the airport. Go ahead.
Could be supply.
Yeah, could be. I mean, it's the only thing to me that makes sense. But I mean, I've been at airports and the cars, it's been slim pickings what you can get, in terms of a rental. So that might be exactly what it is. But those are some staggering statistics. And I'm not just quite sure how the average middle income American family is going to navigate this, because personally, I don't see this getting better. Do you?
I do not. It's not. It happened overnight, but it's not going away overnight.
Yeah, I know. I read up a lot. A former Trump administration official who I happened to go to high school with wrote a really, really, really good book, and it's really a fascinating read. And, I was talking to my husband this morning. He said, when I read that book, the book was written prior to the new administration. And again, this is not a political show. I'm just stating facts. A lot of what he spelled out is exactly what ended up happening. And I'm not quite sure. I mean, people can make adjustments, but you get to the point where, I mean, if you're spending, close to $100 to fill up your gas tank, and you've got to fill your tank up once or twice a week, I don't see families being able to absorb that. I really don't. Then, of course, not to mention, and this is something I'll get into probably a little bit more in the next segment, but we got some time to talk about it right now, is the way that this is affecting the trucking industry. I think people are forgetting it's how our goods get to, to our, food to our table and the goods to our stores so that we can buy them. I mean, truckers right now, I mean, I know my husband's worked for a couple of them and they just said, you know what, it's getting to the point where I'm probably just going to sell my truck. I'm not making any money. I'm at best breaking even. What's the point?
Well, I agree. And the way I explain it to people, because they go, well, why does this cost so much? And you hit it on the head. It's the fuel. And I put it in real simple terms. You know how I am, real simple terms. Mm-hmm. If it costs Dollar Tree more money to put that item on the shelf, it's going to cost me more money to take it off. It's that simple.
Yep.
And the option is I have the option. I don't have to take it off the shelf. And a lot of people are saying, I can't afford to take it off the shelf, so they won't. So it's tough.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely. I mean, I look at two sectors of the economy that really suffered. I think probably the most. Well, a lot of them did, but two that I really felt were really, really hard hit was the travel and hospitality and the service industry. You think of hair salons, the restaurants, any type of service-based industry really took a massive hit during COVID, the lockdowns, things that they had to do. I mean, I look at some of these restaurants and your heart goes out to them because just as they're just getting back on their feet again, they get walloped with these gas prices and, the staffing shortages. I mean, I honestly don't know how some of them are surviving. I forget what the statistic was. Just in the Boston area alone, how many restaurants closed, but I know that it was in the thousands and they're not coming back.
You read my mind. That's exactly what I was thinking of was the Boston restaurants. It was a staggering figure. It was a number you thought, can there even be that many restaurants in Boston? And those are the ones that closed forever.
Yeah. So
I don't remember the number.
It was in the thousands. I know I followed it quite closely. In the Boston Globe, they had they pretty much had an article, I would say at least once or twice a week, about the massive amount of closings down in Boston. And I know it was to be in the thousands, and some of them are just never going to come back. So, yeah. And I don't know if the PPE money actually ended up, helping those businesses out. I don't know. I think for a while it probably did, but then, there were other issues when they got the green light and they had the ability to reopen again. They couldn't get the employees back because the employees were basically being paid more money to stay home. So I don't know. I heard what you said in the opening segment about it being generational. And I think there's probably something to that to a certain degree. But, if you're paying people more money to stay home, I mean, most people are going to opt to stay home. So when I do go into a restaurant and I do find, and I'll strike up a conversation with the server. In fact, I had one the other night with a girl. And she said, I worked right through COVID. I never took unemployment. I worked. And the bartender who came over was talking with us. He said the same thing. He said, we both worked straight through the pandemic. We never took the unemployment. And she goes, yeah, it was tough. We would have made way more money, but we had an allegiance to our employer and, he kept us employed. And we kept thinking, if we took the unemployment, are we going to get the rug pulled out from under us? And yeah, I really feel bad for the hospitality industry, service industry, because when they finally were able to take the respirator off, with the whole COVID pandemic and feel like they could finally breathe again, along comes the gas prices and pretty much, takes another whack at them.
Absolutely. It's been, I don't know how they survived either.
Yeah, it's crazy. So what do you think about the administration printing all this money?
Well, that's a big part of our inflation. We just talked about a little while ago. The value of the dollar has been decreased in the 50 years, 86%. Who knows how much it went down just this year? I could look that up, but I haven't. But you print more money, it's worth less. It's that simple.
Yeah, I don't think people understand that, though. I mean, if you talk to people, I think people, they have a grasp of what inflation means. But I honestly don't think that people sit down and really calculate it out, which is why, when you gave me those numbers and we talked about it prior to coming on the air, the significance of those numbers. And I when people were pushing for that minimum wage, like I said earlier, I mean, really, it's all but gone now. Maybe they got the $15 wage increase through, but what good is it when inflation is so high?
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah, it's just insane. I don't know. So another thing, I'm going to talk a little bit about it, but I really want to get into it in the final segment of the program. But I know most areas, and I know Florida's on fire right now, but even in our area, which is New England, the housing market is absolutely on fire. Their biggest problem right now, I talked to a realtor the other day and I talked to another one last night, and she was both of them, females, were telling me that right now there's no supply at all. Absolutely no supply. So a house hits the market, people are paying $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 over the asking price. And I want to talk about that. And I want to talk about what you think is going to happen to the mortgage industry and the housing industry when we come back from the break. But we do need to take a break. This is Elevating with Marcia on Sirius XM 203, 217. And on the Sirius XM app at 967, the Sports Byline USA Radio Network. You can find me on iHeartRadio, Amazon Audible, Stitcher, iTunes, TuneIn, and my favorite, the American Forces Radio Network. We're going to take a quick break, come back with Michael. We're going to talk mortgages, housing, real estate, and a little bit more. Quick break. I'll be right back.
Progressive's Home Court Explorer lets you easily compare our direct rates with multiple companies. Now that we've covered something you could do, it's time for sports stuff you definitely could not do.
If you were head coach, you would not have gone for it on fourth down. Your confidence in your play calling ability might be a little overblown, considering you're barely confident in which restaurant to order takeout from, let alone choosing a play in front of 70,000 screaming fans.
But you definitely can use Progressive's Home Court Explorer to easily compare rates. Coverage from Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and third-party insurers. Comparison rates not available in all states or situations.
Do you have no credit or bad credit? Well, now it's no problem with YourCreditPulse.com. Our experts have the comprehensive knowledge to help you aggressively navigate and remove any irregularities from your credit report. Call 559-761-9421 for the solution you've been looking for, from buying a house or a car or securing your next personal or small business loan. All you have to do to get started with a confidential and free consultation is call 559-761-9421 or go to our website at YourCreditPulse.com now.
And now today's rust eating tip of the day, presented by Freol Deep Penetrating Oil. You're all set for a quick tire rotation until you have a rusted on wheel. Coat those lug nuts in penetrating oil, let them sit for a few minutes, and you'll have them off in a cinch. Now give a generous spray into each mounting hole, place a 2x4 on the outer edge of the wheel, and smack the wood with a mallet, just enough to create some braking force and vibration. Repeat if necessary. And now a word from Freol.
Stop wasting your time struggling to loosen rusted nuts and bolts. Start using Freol Deep Penetrating Oil. Freol spreads deep into rusted or frozen parts to help release tough bolts and washers. Its formula delivers 3 times more lubricant. That means less sprays, less torque, and less time than any other penetrating oil on the market. It's even silicone-free. Professionals have trusted Freol Deep Penetrating Oil for over 40 years. Now it's your turn. Get Freol today at AutoZone, O'Reilly, and Napa. Look for the silver can.
Have you ever wished the student athlete in your family could play baseball against teams in the Caribbean? Well, now they can set sail and do just that with Team Avenue Baseball on one of its iconic Caribbean cruise camps. That's right. If they love baseball and want an experience they'll never forget, then you need to call 559-321-6701 or visit teamavenuebaseball.com right now. Founded by former pro ball players, teamavenuebaseball.com will lead to the baseball adventure of a lifetime. Call 559-321-6701 now.
Remember your favorite movie moments? Ever thought about collecting them and connecting with your favorite creators? Now you can turn that wish into a reality with Real 8. Real 8 is an inaugural NFT marketplace for fans to collect exclusive behind-the-scenes moments. With Real 8, you can access unique experiences like meeting the cast and crew live. Visit real8.com/USA now to join a community of like-minded fans and get even closer to the films you love. Don't miss the latest NFT drop. Check out real8.com/USA. That's REEL, the number 8.com/USA.
Okay, everybody, welcome back. This is Marcia Hawkins of Elevating with Marcia. We're going to be talking on the final segment. We're going to be talking about the crazy real estate market, the mortgages, interest rates are creeping up, and what that might look like. I mean, I've got a kind of a good idea. I kind of lived through one of the housing bubbles up here. We had the housing bubble right in the tail end of the Reagan years. Then we had basically a mortgage collapse with the mortgage scandal and all of that. And right now, when I talked to the two realtors the other day, they were telling me that right now, house comes on the market, it's usually sold before it even hits the market. And usually it's over the asking price. Sometimes I've heard figures as high as $100,000 over the asking price for people to get it. And quite frankly, in a couple of years, when as the interest rates creep up, which they are, typically what happens is that the housing prices come down. What is that going to look like in a couple of years?
They're just going to be crazy. And the thing that people are going to remember is that you buy a house, you pay too much for that one. Where are you moving to? Another house the price has been inflated.
Mm-hmm.
So where have you gotten?
Well, you are correct. However, I'm really thinking about the first-time home buyer who, had to come up with extra cash to even get their foot in the door. I mean, I don't know a lot of times people would tell you, well, you know what, I'm just going to sit this out. Well, then there comes along the rental crisis. There's no rentals. Same thing. When you're paying as much for a rental as you would for a mortgage, people are kind of throwing their hands up in the air going, I don't want to do that. I want to get my foot in the door. So they're making that leap of faith that they're just going to go ahead and, try to get their foot in the housing market. But what happens in, 2 or 3 years when the prices come down and the house isn't worth what they paid and they're out the cash that they overpaid? I don't know. I see, I see a warning sign like flashing before me that, people really need to, be careful because they're going to be in mortgages in houses they can't afford. And then add on what we just talked about in the first two segments, the gas prices, the heating oil prices, the grocery prices, not to mention the fact my husband was telling me this morning, he was making these snow guards for this job that he was working on. He said, normally these would have cost me $18 in materials. He goes, it cost me $87.
Wow.
That is staggering. Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know. I really see a huge problem for these home buyers that are going to get stuck with these inflated prices. And I know like part of the issue was that a lot of people were getting out of major metropolitan areas because of the lockdowns. They just simply had enough. You lived in New York City, the pandemic was going on. You could not even go outside. I mean, forget it. I mean, moved me out. I would have been out of there the first 2 weeks, but that's what happened. So you start to talk to some of the realtors and they tell you they're getting people from Boston, they're getting people from New York and Hartford, and they're all moving into these rural areas so they can have some semblance of freedom again. And obviously a lot of the restrictions have been lifted, but now that they've had a taste of what it's like, they're like, yeah, I'm staying put. I'm not going back. So I wonder, I mean, I know I've talked on many shows about the commercial real estate industry. I mean, can you imagine when all of those people were forced to work at home and a lot of businesses thought, you know what, I'm going to stick to it. I'm just going to have everyone work from, think about workman's comp. I mean, they're saving money on workman's comp because the claims are going to go down. I mean, if you get hurt at home, I mean, I don't see those going through on a workman's comp claim. I really don't.
Good point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the money that they're saving on rent, the insurance, heating, electricity, I mean, I think, man, I mean, if you own a business, Zoom has got to be one of the greatest inventions since, sliced bread for these companies. So a lot of companies are just opting to let people continue to work from home. So you cannot go down Main Street USA without seeing retail stores for rent. You cannot go into an industrial park without seeing, major office buildings for rent, for lease, for sale. So you already have that starting. Now you're going to add on what I believe is going to be a crippling real estate mortgage crisis. I don't know. I mean that and inflation. I know I'm probably baking a misery cake here, and I don't mean to, but it begs talking about it. It really does. It begs talking about it because, and it's not that I'm, again, I'm not trying to bake a misery cake here, but I really, I want to put that out there because I really want to think about like what the solutions are. I mean, the obvious are maybe you don't drive as much, you cut back, you do this, you do that. But I mean, at some point, I've got to believe that, people are really going to get fed up with this. I can't imagine what the midterms are going to look like.
That'd be interesting. Back to your comment about the first home buyer. That's an excellent point. Now they have a budget in mind. They're going to buy this house for X, and all of a sudden, they're saving their money for the 20% down or whatever. All of a sudden, now the house is, that tens of thousands of dollars higher. And I'll give you an example. When I lived in Illinois during the housing boom, I saw people, and they were dinks, double income, no kids, and they buy these huge houses and huge mortgages, and then you'd go visit them, and they had no furniture. They had room. What a lovely
I've seen
house!
That.
Yeah. I'm going. Oh, so you're moving? No, we've been here 2 years. Oh, really?
Yeah. No, it's very true.
It's really. I don't know what the answer is, but it's going to get tougher. That's the shame of it, really.
Yeah. Well, I think the midterms are probably, I don't know. And I think there's going to be an interesting election in 2022 for the midterms. I think that people, I mean, at least I'm starting to realize, I have my political beliefs and nobody cares, and that's why I keep them to myself. But I've got to believe though that there's probably going to be a red wave. My prediction in the midterms, because I think people are going to be so fed up at that point that they'll do anything to try to change the direction of the direction that the country is going in. I know that the approval ratings and all that are just in the absolute toilet, and I get it, but I don't know. It does kind of bother me that you have 535 people and members of Congress that are really shaping, and making all the decisions for, what's going on in the country. And I got to be honest with you. I've yet to find one that I agree with. And again, this is not a political statement, but I keep thinking it just can't get any worse. And it's like, it says, hold my beer. And it does get worse. So I don't know. And then you've got the whole, Ukraine issue going on, the Russia issue going on. You've got the school shootings, not that that's got anything to do with President Biden. He doesn't have anything to do with that. They're talking about gun control, free speech is being affected. A lot of people are, go woke and go broke. They've got, we've got that going on. It's like the country is, manic depressive right now. I don't really know what the answers are, but I know that the importance of how we vote in the midterms is going to shape whether or not we're going to be able to pull out of this, in my opinion.
Well, I'll tell you what's most disturbing to me about our elected officials, so-called public servants, which I know who they're serving, and it isn't me. Mm-hmm. They suffer none of the ramifications for their actions or their ideology. They voted themselves on wonderful retirement and healthcare benefit plans that you and I don't enjoy. Mm-hmm. But they do. They do. I mean, they get one term, half a term, whatever it is they need to serve, and they don't serve us. I shouldn't say they. A lot are a little taking care of themselves more than they're taking care of us. But my point is, they do not suffer any of the ramifications of the actions and the laws that they put in place. We do.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, it's terrible. Yeah.
Yeah, and what it is, you only have to serve one term in Congress, and even if you're voted out after one term, you get your full retirement. You get your full retirement, set for life, exactly. And I'm not quite sure how they get in, and all of a sudden within a year or two become multimillionaires. I mean, what do they make about? I think senators make a little north of 175,000. I think it's 194, and I think
it's 174, something like
House,
that. Yeah.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, but they just got an increase. I think it's more like 194. Okay. And I believe members of the House, I believe they're a little north of 160. So, which I kind of find that odd that they.
So they just got an increase, probably for inflation.
Well, yeah, of course they've got to have that.
Cost of living increase. Yeah.
Yeah, and the other issue that I take with politicians is it's, do as I say, don't, I really, that really kind of bugs me a lot, actually. They want you to do what they say, but they don't heed their own advice. They want everyone else to, to cut back, and the Green New Deal, and I get it. I want the planet to be safe too, but they've got to walk the walk, and if they talk the talk, they need to walk the walk. And let's face it, they don't. All of them. I don't care whether it's a Republican or a Democrat. They do what they want. They're very, very self-serving. It really drives me crazy. But I, for the life of me, cannot understand how anybody could look at the state of this country and think that we are going in the right direction. I can't imagine somebody telling me, and I have had people tell me that they think everything is wonderful, and I just don't see it. I really don't.
No, I don't either. Have you ever seen the list of the items that are made from petroleum? I'll just give you two. It's in the hundreds and hundreds. Mm-hmm. Just give you two examples: toothpaste and golf balls. Who thinks petroleum? Think about that. There's a lot of things. It's not just
toothpaste.
Fuel,
I wouldn't have guessed that. Yeah.
Toothpaste and golf balls are made with petroleum. How about electricity? Well, you know where we get most of our electricity? What that comes from?
Yeah.
Our wonderful, clean, beautiful coal.
My husband was telling me that in order for a tractor trailer to be electric, it would take the energy to fuel 389 houses to run that truck. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, not going to happen. I mean, it's just not going to happen. Yeah, and unfortunately, I don't know. Like I said, this really wasn't a political tone. It's just, trying to make sense of it. That's really what we're trying to do, is just trying to make sense of all this. And apparently, I'm not going to be able to do that in an hour for sure. All right, we're going to take a quick break. Come back. Elevating with Marcia on Sports Byline USA Radio Network. Quick break. Come back. Close it out.
Have you written a book? You can become a published author with Dorrance Publishing, the nation's oldest publishing services company. Countless authors have trusted Dorrance for nearly 100 years to bring their book to the market. Our professional team will edit your text, design your book pages, and create an appealing, eye-catching custom cover. Plus, our authors benefit from a custom book promotion marketing campaign that makes your book available where people buy books, like Amazon and brick-and-mortar bookstores. So make this free call right now to claim your free author's guide to publishing. Don't wait another day. Take one step closer to realizing your dream of becoming a published author and seeing your name in print. You've already written a book, so the next thing to do is make this free call right now to Dorrance Publishing and get your free guide to publishing. Call right now.
800-485-6003. 800-485-6003. That's 800-485-6003.
Most of us like to be out in the sun. That's why sunscreen and other safety measures are key to protecting your skin from aging and cancer. The FDA recommends using a sunscreen with a sun protection factor, or SPF, of 15 or higher. Also, look for broad spectrum on the label. That means both harmful ultraviolet A and B rays are blocked. UVA rays age the skin, UVB rays burn, and both cause cancer. But the perfect sunscreen doesn't count if you use it wrong. Don't need sunscreen on a cloudy day? Wrong. 80% of UV rays still get through the haze. Only use sunscreen at the beach? Nope. Anytime you're outside, UV rays attack the skin, so you need protection. And you have to reapply sunscreen every 2 hours. Remember, SPF plus broad spectrum equal healthy fun in the sun. Visit www.fda.gov/sunscreen for more information. A message from the U.S. Food and Drug Administration.
Do you own a timeshare? Well, face the facts. You made a mistake. You made a bad purchase. A timeshare is not an investment. It's a money pit that continues forever. If you use your timeshare, that's great. But if you don't, and you want to legally get out of your contract, call my friends right now at the Timeshare Exit Hotline. They're an experienced team of lawyers who help good people like you get out of a timeshare contract that they just don't want. Don't throw away your money on maintenance fees. Use it for things you really want. We can help you end your timeshare contract and stop the money drain immediately. If you're ready to move on with your timeshare, call our team right now.
Cancel your timeshare now with a free call. 800-824-5131. 800-824-5131. 800-824-5131. That's 800-824-5131.
All right, everybody, I just heard the 2-minute warning. Time for me to wrap up another edition of Elevating with Marcia on Sirius XM 203, 217, and on the app 967, the Sports Byline USA Radio Network. Today was brought to you by MarciaHawkinsAgency.com. Check it out. Also, check out ElevatedMediaESQ.com. If you would like to feature your product, your service, or business, or if you have a cause that you're passionate about, please direct message me on Instagram or Facebook, and we'll get you on the show, of course. I'll be monitoring all the news as it pertains to the Patriots, New England sports, and all the sports, professional and college. We've got a lot going on in the NBA, Major League Baseball, hockey, golf, and so much more. We'll have to see what Tom Brady does at the end of the football season. We already know he's going to be joining Fox Sports as a commentator, much to my delight. All right, everybody, check out MarciaHawkinsAgency.com. If you're in the northwest corner of Massachusetts, you can stop by and see us at 115 Water Street in beautiful, scenic Williamstown, Massachusetts in Berkshire County. Also, check out ElevatedMediaESQ.com. We also can provide you with excellent business services, everything from websites to search engine optimization and a lot more. All right, thanks for tuning in for another edition of Elevating with Marcia. I'm your host, Marcia Hawkins. Please check us out on Sirius XM 203, 217, and on the app 967, the Sports Byline USA Radio Network. Also, Amazon Audible, Stitcher, iTunes, Tuned In, iHeartRadio, and my favorite, the American Forces Radio Network. A big shout out to our military. Always a heartfelt and big thank you for your service and sacrifice. Remember, always be in the minute to win it. I hope you make it a great week. Adios.